Structural design operates on probabilistic foundations rather than deterministic constants. Both structural demand and capacity exhibit intrinsic variability. Anticipated loads fluctuate stochastically due to unpredictable occupancy patterns, environmental forces, and operational changes. Conversely, material strengths varies due to metallurgical imperfections, rolling tolerances, fabrication flaws, and field erection approximations. When we plot the probability density functions of load and material strength, the intersection of these two bell curves represents the statistical overlap. The structural probability of failure. The core objective of limit state design (LSD) is to minimize this probability below an acceptable target reliability index over the structural design life. Because performing a full probabilistic integration for every structural element in daily practice is computationally impractical, modern design codes utilize partial safety factors. These factors serve as a deterministic tool to calibrate safety margins directly against this underlying statistical reality. The cornerstone of limit state design is the primary inequality. Design action must be less than or equal to design strength. Design action represents the unfactored working loads such as dead, live, wind, or seismic forces, scaled up by a partial safety factor for loads. This factor accounts for unpredicted load spikes, analytical simplifications, computational inaccuracies, and potential errors in structural modeling. On the capacity side, design strength is derived by taking the nominal or ultimate strength of the section and dividing it by a partial safety factor for materials. This reduction accounts for material heterogeneity, geometric tolerances, residual stresses, and field execution defects. Unlike working stress design, which applied a single global factor of safety to allowable stresses, LSD decouples uncertainties into independent load and material factors. This provides consistent target reliability across various load combinations and structural configurations. Limit state of strength or ultimate limit state define the boundary conditions under which a structure or part of it experiences imminent collapse or loses structural integrity. Reaching an ultimate limit state renders the structure completely unfit for service. These failures are governed by two distinct physical mechanisms: geometric nonlinearity and material nonlinearity. Geometric nonlinearity occurs when large displacements alter the equilibrium equations of the structure. This includes classic elastic buckling of slender compression members, lateral torsional buckling of unbraced beams, and overall loss of equilibrium. Material nonlinearity occurs when stress levels breach the elastic limit, triggering cross-sectional failure. This mechanism involves general yielding, plastic hinge formation, material rupture, or diagonal shear degradation. Evaluating ultimate limit states requires validating both member-level material strength and geometric stability under critical factored load combination. Beyond member design, limit state design mandates structural stability checks at the system level, focusing on global equilibrium and lateral stability. Global equilibrium dictates that a structure must not lift off its bearing, slide, or overturn. To ensure safety against overturning, design codes apply a reduced load factor of zero point 0.9 to the stabilizing permanent dead load while applying full load factors to destabilizing forces. This penalizes beneficial dead load, guarding against unpredicted overturning moments. For sway frames, system stability requires accounting for initial geometric imperfections and dynamic sway through notional horizontal loads, typically 0.5% of the total factored gravity load applied at story levels. Furthermore, frame analysis must evaluate P delta effects. As the structure sways laterally by a displacement delta, vertical gravity loads P generate secondary overturning moments, amplifying internal forces and reducing overall lateral stiffness. Certain structural failures are driven by cyclic loading and low temperature stress fields rather than static overload. Fatigue failure occurs under repeated stress fluctuations, typically exceeding 100,000 cycles, common in crane girders and bridge decks. Microcracks initiate at geometric stress concentrations and propagate under stress levels significantly below the nominal yield strength. The code addresses fatigue using working load ranges with a load factor gamma F equals 1.0, requiring detailing that eliminates sharp section transitions. Brittle fracture occurs suddenly without prior plastic deformation. It is triggered by a combination of high tensile stress, low operating temperatures below 0 degrees centigrade, thick plate sections, and high strain rates. Under these conditions, the material transitions from ductile to brittle mode. Design mandates strictly limit section thickness in cold environments and enforce continuous longitudinal weights to eliminate transverse stress raises. This matrix systematically classifies the limit states of strength, mapping failure modes to their structural scale, driving physical mechanism and corresponding code verification method. Loss of equilibrium acts on the system level, requiring that destabilizing overturning moment remains strictly less than 0.9 times the stabilizing dead load. Loss of stability affects both frames and individual members, governed by sway checks, notional horizontal loads, and P delta second order analysis. Deformation and material rupture focus on member level mechanics, ensuring factored internal actions do not exceed design yield or buckling capacities. Material level failure modes, fatigue and brittle fracture are controlled through stress range limits at serviceability loads, gamma F equals 1.0, and strict material toughness selection, respectively. Structural reliability is achieved only when every potential failure path within this matrix is explicitly identified, evaluated, and verified during design.